Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to download and install Python, and we're going to get to coding. And we're going to cover some basic stuff. So does anyone have any questions on the Minesweeper exercise, anything from day one? Okay, so what we're going to do is I want you guys to all you got to do is Google the words download Python. So once you've done that, your first result should be python.org. You click on it, it will tell you the latest version for Windows, and then all you got to do is click on this button. I've already downloaded this, so oops. Oh, okay, so here we go. Have you guys all downloaded it? Or is it in the middle of downloading? Okay. So once you do that, what I want you guys to do is to actually run it, and you'll see something very similar. Obviously, it's not going to be the exact same as mine because I've already installed it. However, it will give you the option for a custom installation or like the default standard one. We want to customize it. So don't just click install now. There should be an option for customize, and we want to customize it.
So customize
installation.
Customize installation.
Customize installation. Click that, and then don't click anything else because it's very important that you click the right things, especially if you're going on to the advanced class. If you click one thing, it saves me about 3 minutes worth of work on your computer, setting it up in a different way. And then especially if I have to do that for 7 people, that's half a class period where I'm just running around. And then if it doesn't work, then it's like, okay, well now why is it not working? You got to troubleshoot it, and then it's 15 minutes with one student because their computer is not being awesome, and then it's just ugh. So please don't click anything until I tell you to click it. Who here has downloaded it and the installer's running? Everyone has their installer running? Kevin?
Yeah, almost.
Almost there? Okay. So are you guys excited?
Yes.
As excited as you can be for installing software on a computer?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Asher? You excited? There we go. I got a thumbs up. Yes, Cole.
Is it a chapel today or is it a Watson?
It's chapel.
Chapel.
So, and you're going to stay in here and watch it in here. Hopefully they send me that link because I don't have it right now. All right, Kevin, you good?
Yep.
All right. So when you click customize, you should see something very similar to this, right? Documentation, pip, all this stuff. Okay. This should be checked for you guys already, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to click next, and you guys need to check install for all users. That makes it easier when we're looking for specific files that come installed in Python, as opposed to clicking in 7 or 8 folders. You have to click in 3, so it's just a lot easier. That's it. You guys don't need to do anything else. So then you'll click yes.
You have add Python to environmental variables on and mine's off. Should I turn it on and just leave it?
Oh, that comes later. But yes, if you guys see this add Python to environment variables, click that.
To make it look good, check mark.
Yeah, so check it. Once you guys have that, you guys can click install or next, whatever you guys have. It should be install. During the installation process, there are 2 things that will pop up. While it's installing, it'll be done installing, and then it'll go, hey, click. There's a check mark, and maybe we just did it with that environmental path variable. It'll say add Python to path. You want to check that, and then if it asks you, do you want to disable the path limit, check yes to that too. I don't think we will because we installed it for all users and the limit, and it's just in a different location on your computer. So I don't think you'll have to do that, but you may. But those are the two things we want to make sure you guys check, that you add Python to the path, and that's the thing that's tricky. If you don't do, then you can't. It makes running programs in the advanced class a lot easier because you can hit Windows R. What'd I do? Yeah,
So we
so.
allow it to make changes to our device.
Yep, allow it to make changes to your device. So once in the advanced class, and this is just a preview while we're waiting for it to install, if you hit Windows R, you get this little program that says to run. You can then type like paint.exe. Maybe you can't. Oh no, it's MS Paint. And so it can launch programs. And by adding Python to the path, if you click Windows R and let's say you have a code that will map, and we learned to do this in the advanced class. If I copy an address, right, and I can still paste it. If I do map it and then .py and run it, it will find directions from my house to that location. So instead, yeah. So it's one of the things we learn how to do. It's called scripting, and you can do a script that will do a big job. So let's say you every day at your office job, wherever it is, you have to copy and paste columns from an Excel spreadsheet into another one and then read it to a Word document and print out that Word document. You can script it to have your script do all that work. So it may take an hour-long task you have to do and cut it down into 10 or 15 seconds, and you use that once a week. Or you can write scripts that shave off 10 seconds, but you use it almost every day. So those are just, and the map it one is an example of one that we would that saves you 10 or 15 seconds, but you'd use all the time. So Asher, yeah.
So when I try and it asks me, do you want this computer, or do you want it to make changes to your computer? It says I need an administer password and username.
You should be logged in as an admin. Your account should be an admin account. Okay. I will fix that after class. So unfortunately, let me get these guys to a point where they can just start messing around, and then I'll do a remote session and I'll fix it. I'll see if I can fix it. Okay? Okay. Sorry about that, but that's really weird. That shouldn't have happened to you. Okay, so once you guys, is it done installing? No, who's? Okay. So what you guys will then do, so then just pay attention up here until it's done. So it installs it in your applications, Python 3.8. The one that we want and the one that we're going to use is this idle. We don't need to use the other things right now. And what I always do is I click it, I drag it, and so that it's pinned right here. So all I have to do is click this and then that. And now your guys' is not going to look like this.
Can we drag it to like that bottom right? What's that like bottom local?
The taskbar?
Yeah. We drag
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you can totally do that. This is what yours is going to look like. Do you guys? Is this what you guys have?
Yes.
Okay. I don't like that. Yeah, Cole.
So it says disable line limit. We want to put that. Yeah.
You want that checked. Yeah, you want to disable the path limit.
I can't like check it. Actually, it's just like I click it. That's all.
It's a link, and then
Yeah.
and then when you click it, it says you wanna. I don't even know what it says.
What? Well, read it to me. What
It
is?
says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that just prevents you from accidentally installing viruses. So if you guys are, and this is just an IT little tidbit, If you guys are messing with your Surface, changing a setting, that's fine. If you're downloading something, let's say you want to download Spotify or iTunes or whatever, and you double click something and that pops up, it's okay to click yes because you are expecting it because you are downloading and installing something. If you click on a link in someone's email and that pops up and you're not expecting it, because if you click on someone's email and that pops up, immediately click no because that's probably a virus. So don't ever click on links in an email unless you know who it's from. That sort of stuff. But if you're not expecting that thing to pop up, click no. And if you ever have any questions, come to the IT department and we'll take a look at it. When in doubt, click no. When in doubt, click no. Okay? So this is how your guys' look. Again, I don't like this view. I like the dark mode. So I go to options and configure, and a lot of students in second hour wanted to configure it this way. So you click configure idle. I changed the size of my text so that you guys can see it. You guys don't have to do that. You guys can. I have it bolded. Please don't mess with indentation or anything. The only thing you can change that I ask is the size and whether or not it's bold. Once you've done that, you can jump over to highlights, and it is under idle classic, idle dark. Don't change the font, don't change the layout, don't change anything, because if you change the font, it will change the spacing. If you change the spacing, it's a lot harder to code, because instead of using, you guys have all seen like JavaScript or code where you have curly cues and brackets and all that everywhere. Python doesn't use that. It uses indentation. So if your indentation, if the difference between a four indents is this wide, and I'm showing this to people online. So if you're a difference between that and that, if this is the difference between your indentation and you have 400 lines of code, like you're not going to see it. So please don't change anything except the size, if you like it bolded, and the color. Does that make sense? Okay. So once you have this, wunderbar. Does everyone have their Python shell up and running?
Yes.
Okay. So this right here is called the shell, and this is a line-by-line executor. Andre, you good?
I'm still like getting the process of things. It might take forever to install it, but I don't.
Okay. Everyone else is good though, right? Okay. So this is the shell, and this is more or less for this sort of stuff. Line by line, I want to check and see, you know, does true equal false? That's false, because something true can't be false, right? So you don't write code here. This is where you interact with the user. So if you're asking the user to enter in information, this is where the user will enter it in. Your code, it's called source code, they never see. Right? We're going to cover that on Monday. We're going to how to open and start using source code. Source code, Cole, is just the code you write. Nothing fancy about it. Right? When you're playing a video game, do you ever see the code?
No.
All you see is the interface. This is the interface that the user sees. Questions so far? I ask that a lot, so if you guys do have questions, please feel free to raise your hand. And if you have a question, I'd bet money someone else has the exact same question. So you're not alone. Just throwing that out there. Okay, so in coding, we use a lot of mathy stuffy, but not really a lot of math. So first things first. 2 plus... Oh my gosh. Yeah, thank you. I thought like there was a fire drill starting or something. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 minus 2 is what?
0.
0. 2 times 5 is 10, and 5 divided by 2 is
2.5.
yeah. So these are the 4 main operations. These are mathematical operations. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. I totally forgot to go over the other ones with the other class. I'll do that Monday. Oops. There's three more. What do you guys think the answer to this is?
Wait,
8.
8.
8, yep. So this is how you do exponents. Is multiplication, multiplication. Yes.
How do you like delete? Like, how do you like?
Right here, you don't delete.
You can't.
Not right now. That's what the shell is. It's line by line, and you can't go back and edit this because it's not. It's just not what you can do here. This is line by line. If you make a mistake, that's fine, right? You're gonna get errors all the time. Errors aren't bad, right? Every time you get an error, it's a chance to learn something. Every time you make a mistake, you learn something and you get smarter. And you can apply that to life. More people at their deathbed regret things they didn't do than things they did. Just saying. Now that doesn't mean go out and do every impulsive thing that you know of, but just it's okay if you do something and make a mistake. Okay? Especially in coding, because it's impossible for you to write code that doesn't break at some point. Like my wife's a software developer, her code breaks, not necessarily because of her, but the back end changes something and it doesn't work with her code and now the whole thing doesn't work. And the back end has to fix it or the front end has to fix it or whatever. So you can't write code without making a mistake, and mistakes are okay. It also tells you what's wrong. There's two other operations. So 5 divided by 2 gives us 2.5, but 5% sine 2 gives us what? Actually, no. Hey, well, oh, wait. Who just said that? Who just said remainder? Yes. Gives you the remainder. 2 goes into 5 how many times? 2 with how many left over?
Oh.
That's what that is. So this is the best way I know of to determine if a number is even or odd in code. So 2, so let's go 4% sine 2 is going to equal what? 4% sine 2 is going to equal what? And any number that's odd, percent sine 2 is going to equal 1. And any even number, percent sine 2 is going to equal 0. So that's a very easy way, and we will have to use that later on. So please remember that. That is 100% going to be used later in the class. Now this last one, 5. So 5 divided by 2 gives us 2.5. What do you think 5 double slash gives us? Just throw out anything you think. 2. Yep. It gets rid of the decimal. So if your code, if let's say you have some math that figures out the damage a bad guy does to a hero, but your health is only in whole numbers. You can't have half numbers because the way you've coded it is such that, right? You can't have half an image representing 1 of your health. You have to have 1 health or 0 health or whatever. You can't have half. Does that make sense? Like, you can't have half of an image of health.
Yeah.
So you code it so that whatever damage ends up being a full number as opposed to a half number, and then it can take away from your health accordingly. So that's why you would use something like that if your code can't handle a decimal and you need it to be, or you just want the whole number. Or for example, the number of donuts students can have. Right? We have 12 donuts divided by 11. That means every student can have 1 and no more. Because I'm not going to cut up the 12th donut into 11ths to hand out to you. Does that make sense? How many people can fit in a spaceship?
4.
Right? So let's say we have 100 cubic feet, and I'm making up numbers, and each human takes up 30 cubic feet. But we can only fit 3 people in there. even though if we were to do 100 divided by 30, well, we can fit a third of a person in there. We can fit 3 1/3 people. Who wants to give up a third of their body to go on the spaceship?
Sure.
Right? No, like so that's another way or another reason you would use that. Any questions so far? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. The next thing, who here is familiar with orders of operations in math? Luke, please. Do you guys not know that? Yeah, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
We always say purple elephants walking down the street. Or wait, no, marching down the street.
Purple elephants marching down a street?
That's us.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it's please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. She's crazy.
I like purple elephants better.
Purple elephants, my
Marching
dear
down
Aunt
the
Sally.
street.
There we go. My dear Aunt Sally, they're purple elephants? I don't know. All right, so where was I? Okay, so in coding, math follows the exact same rules. So if I have 15 minus 8 times parenthesis 4 minus 8 parenthesis plus 5 divided by 2. I don't know what that answer is, but it's negative 10.5. Yes, Cole.
You always have to like put a space in between.
You don't have to. I do it just because that's how I code. So you could do x is 3.
Feel like one of the moving parts. Sorry. It's on Zoom.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see him. How long has he been waiting?
20 minutes. The class is only 30 minutes. I know. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean he's in the middle of joining. Yeah, that was I'm sorry, Will. I'm recording this and it will be on YouTube, so you can watch the beginning part. It would have helped if I had my email open because it would have told me that. No, don't open my email. Don't open my email.
Listen, you have to put a.
It was that him texting
Yes.
me? Oh, I'm sorry, Will. Oh my gosh. I'm really glad this mask is on because it's hiding how red my face is right now. So, have you downloaded and installed Python?
Not yet.
Not yet? With yes or no?
No.
Okay, that's my bad, dude. When does what? So if we started at 25, you have 10 minutes left. Okay. Well, Will, give me a minute. I'll get these guys situated on some stuff, and then I'll talk to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. So just hang tight for a sec. Now the last thing, and then I'm gonna let you guys have at it for 5 or so minutes. Is variables. Now there's 3 types of variable types we're gonna go over. We have integers, which are whole numbers. We have floats, which are decimals. And we have strings. Now a string is just text of any type on your keyboard. So anything you look at your keyboard and it's a symbol, it's a number, it's a word, that can be a string. So as you can tell, obviously, x equals 3 is an integer. Does that make sense? And the way, again, just like in math, we have our variable name, we declare that that is what it equals to, and then we have the value, which is 3. Oops. So x is 3. We can also do y is 19.456. This is a float. Make sense? The reason it's a float is because it has a decimal. This is an integer because it doesn't. And the last thing is z, you can have strings. Now, with a string, you have to have quotations around it. Yes.
Does it have to be double quotes or single?
For now, let's do single quotes. You can use double quotes. And you can also use, they have different uses, but for now, just stick with this one. When you display it, it still looks the exact same. So it doesn't interfere with anything, so it just leaves it as is. So that made no sense. It doesn't, whatever. So just use single quotation marks. So what I want you guys to do while I help Will is come up with 5 variables that are math or strings, that are numbers or strings, and I just want you to go through and see what happens if you try to add them together. Right, so create 5 variables, I don't care what they are, use letters, A, B, C, D, E, F. Make sure you have a couple integers, a couple floats, and a string, and then just start doing multiplication, addition, all that sort of stuff with all of them, just so you get used to doing that sort of stuff. I think I can pause this recording. Oh, sweet, I can. So I'm going to pause the recording, I'm going to help Will, and then if we have time in the last few minutes, we'll go over some more stuff. So be right back. Okay, there we go. It unpaused. That's super cool. I'm glad it's right there. All right. So how many of you got an error? Cole, can you put your phone away? Thank you. And what error did you get? What were you trying to do?
I was trying to add my strings to my floats.
Yes. So you were trying to go, name plus 15.7, right? Something like that. And you got this error. What this means is, how do you add 15.7 to name? Anna, what's the answer if I add 10 to Anna? Makes no sense, right? It breaks. You can't add a number or a float to a string. Does that make sense? Because what is 47 divided by Lorian? Right? It just doesn't make sense. Hang on. Oh, Brandon? Okay. What's up?
Couldn't you treat a string as an integer?
You could, but currently we don't know how to do that. Now what you can do, so let's say name is Bob and X is 13, X is 3. So we can't do name plus Bob. Again, it gets this error. Can only concatenate string, not integer, to string. What that is saying, when we concatenate something, that is the term for adding a string to a string. We don't add strings together, we concatenate them, we add numbers together. There's a big difference in coding. We are concatenating, not adding strings together. So even if we have what is that answer going to be? Is it going to be 1015 or is it going to be 25? Because all it does is it takes this string A, string B, and puts them right next to each other. No spaces, nothing. It just string A, string B, boom. Now if I were to do, now we get 15,010 or 1510. As opposed to if we were to do 10 plus 15 or 15 plus 10.
Mr. Stoner,
Yep.
it says setup was successful.
It was successful? Okay. Awesome. Well, if you didn't have that path limit issue, then that's okay. All right, so that's class. I'm going to stop the recording. No homework. I didn't get to print with you guys. Lauren?
Do we have to save anything or do we just close?
You don't have to save anything. Real quick, if you guys want to have some fun, if you type the word print, print displays information to the user. And you can print x plus y to get the answer. Yes?
Is there a way to like clear it or just like a
Not yet. You can restart the shell by coming up here and clicking restart. But that just, now x doesn't equal anything. Name doesn't equal anything. Y doesn't equal anything. It just kind of, it's as if you closed it and reopened it. Cool?
What if like you had x like equaling more than one thing? Like what if you had like x equals 2 and then like later you said x equals 3? Just use like the newest.
Yep, it's whatever the latest definition was. So again, no homework. We're going to go over more of this on Monday. I really hope I get my classes in the where they exactly are, but they had 20 minutes. They had a half hour longer the first day, so they're 30 minutes ahead of you guys. But anyway, so that's it. I'm going to stop the recording. Again, I'm going to put all of these on YouTube. So everything that happened on screen will be on YouTube. And I'll make the playlist and the list and all that available on YouTube. So stopping recording.